All right, this is Michael Box. I'm sitting here with Andrea Wanek, who is the faculty advisor for the Politics Club. Today, maybe we can start with you telling me a little bit about Augustana's Politics Club and the history of it here.
Sure. I'm actually just taking over as advisor this year. Basically, I think this group was formed a few years ago or so. Okay. I'm not exactly sure of the dates, but it's very, I think we tried to get a group, from what I understand the history behind it, that it is nonpartisan and welcoming to all students, whether their political beliefs, their backgrounds, their majors. It's open to everybody. We like to try to get just kind of a comfortable space, I would say, for students where we can have healthy dialogues about, obviously politics and other international events that are going on, and definitely more public policy and all sorts of different topics, I guess.
Like stuff that affects them, specifically. Absolutely. Or may affect them in the future?
Both, I would say. Like I said, we just had our first meeting, so we talked about a lot more international issues, I believe. I'm trying to think. We have a lot of international students, and I was really excited to see quite a few of them come because we get so many different perspectives, and I think having that really unique quality that Augustana has of having that kind of home for international students really it makes for some really interesting dialogue, getting an outside world perspective. I think as being from the United States, we kind of get stuck in our bubble, and having some unique perspectives from different countries is pretty exciting, I think.
Kind of like the generational divide, like me being an older student, there's, I could be some of their parents and stuff, so I have a different perspective on life than they do.
Exactly, yes, exactly.
As an advisor to the Politics Club, what kind of range of different viewpoints have you seen?
I know you said you're new to this. We're just getting started. I think from just the first meeting, once again, seeing the different perspectives from international students. For example, we had, one from the Middle East. We had several from Southeast Asia, South America. So a lot of different global perspectives.
And they probably don't follow along the conservative, liberal lines that you see here in the United States.
Yeah, not so much. So that's really interesting. I know, I don't know if I can say this. A particular student from the Middle East expressed her views, and it was pretty surprising, I think, from a U.S. perspective, seeing that viewpoint. I think as an American, we get so locked into, we get so locked into just kind of, once again, a bubble that is around us, and seeing those outside perspectives, basically what their opinion on U.S. policies, international relations is not all rainbows and unicorns like a lot of Americans think. I guess you could say.
Yeah, I'm a big news reader. I have an app that gets me my news from all sorts of different sources, and I probably go through that and read that several times a day. And I hear lately I've been particularly paying attention to political stuff, because there's a lot of political stuff going on, especially in Congress. You see, I've been watching the war in Ukraine, the Israeli-Gaza war that's going on now. Iran may be getting into it, so these are what I'm focusing on currently.
That was something else. We did ask, where do you, as students, where do you get your news? We're inundated with information, but finding accurate, fact-based news is becoming more and more difficult, I feel like, and seeing where different students, a lot of them get it for social media, but we have a lot that actually want to kind of gear away from the mainstream media and get more into independent journalism that's based on research and facts. So that was an interesting perspective just to hear, like, where are you guys getting your news? You're inundated with information, but where do you take that information, I guess?
And when taking in, how much does looking at how you process the processing of that information, how much does that play a role in,
having like healthy dialogues, I
Yeah.
guess you could say. I think just having, hopefully, students don't gear towards one news outlet. They can have a multiple. Obviously, they get a lot from social media. I know Substack was brought up. That's a kind of a platform for independent journalists. So I think just hoping they get different news sources to bring going forward, so we can use those in our different discussions.
Now, are all the members in your in politics club, do you know if they're all political science majors and minors, or is there a wide range that you see in there?
There's a wide range. Yeah, I did ask that, because obviously it's open to all majors and minors. Right. Obviously we did have a few, but not as many as I thought. So I think that's good as well. A lot of communications as well, communication majors. But it varied, yeah, it definitely varied. So
it shows the interest level in people. Were there a lot of people that showed up for your meeting?
I think we had a good turnout. Yeah, I think we had a good turnout for our first meeting. Let's see, we had about 13 or so. Okay. So from what I understand from last year, that was pretty good. So hopefully we can continue to grow, though.
Now with it gearing up to get in towards political season with the next presidential election and congressional elections and stuff coming up, how much of that upcoming stuff is going to play a part in with the politics club?
I'm glad you asked that, because we have discussed getting more involved in voting registration. I think in the past they've had voter drives on campus, but it kind of stalled, and I don't know if it stopped after, with COVID. With so many things. But I think that's definitely one of our goals, as far as getting more involved with getting voter registration, even just getting registration information to students, because I think a lot of them, this is their first time voting in a general election. They don't even know how to register, or how do I, get an absentee ballot from my hometown, because a lot of them aren't local. So just getting that information, I think, hopefully we can, probably more towards the springtime, have a table or something set up in the Gerber, like, what do you need to know about voting registration? We definitely want to use that as the club, getting more into the civics of it, I guess you could say.
All right.
Which I don't know if it's been done in the past. This is all new to me, so hopefully we can just get as many people registered to vote as we're able to.
Are any of the students that are here this year, were they here last year?
Yes, they were. I think like our VP and our president, I think this is maybe going on their third year, I would say.
So they have some experience of what they've done in the past and stuff.
Yeah, and I think it was more just discussions based, which is fine. But I think going forward, we want to kind of grow the group more into, like I said, kind of more civics based, getting people interested in voting. I think a lot of the things I hear from students is they don't think their votes matter. They're not political, so they don't they don't see the point in voting. And obviously, as we can see from just local elections, I mean, there was a local election, it came down to 7 votes.
Right.
So saying that your vote doesn't count, you're not political, so you don't want to vote, I mean, it affects your life so much. And not utilizing your right to vote, it's an issue.
See, I see I know a lot of people that they don't go and vote, but then they want to complain about everything that's
what I
going
say.
on.
Yep. If you don't vote, you don't get to complain.
But it makes me think of the movie Swing Vote. I don't know if you've seen that with He's in Dances with Wolves. Kevin Costner, I believe, in it.
Oh gosh, it's been a long time.
And then if I remember correctly from the movie, it boiled down to, in this little area, it boiled down to where he was basically the deciding vote type thing. And I wondered when I was researching for the Politics Club if that was something that you guys kind of emphasize. It can come down to just one person.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely something that we want to be more involved with going forward. Like I said, maybe doing like a table or something, or just doing some type of campaign, voter initiative, just to hopefully get students to realize how important voting is and what it means for their future, basically.
We see a lot of political polarization at the national, state, and local levels. Mm-hmm. Have you seen any of that so far this year show up in your discussion in your first meeting, or is that something that you might expect to come?
Definitely. I do anticipate that happening, but like I said, hopefully creating a space where different opinions can be shared, but having that healthy civil discussion is basically what I think the Politics Club aims for. Obviously, it's tricky this day and age.
Yeah, because a lot of that civility that used to be there is just not there no more.
It's not. I've known families and friends that don't even talk to each other anymore because of their difference of opinions. So, like I said, just getting hopefully students feeling more comfortable and just offering them a space where they feel like their values are welcomed and their opinions do matter. But we are going to have a respectful space to share that.
What are some of the things a student might expect to experience at a Politics Club meeting? I know you mentioned, having discussions and some future plans. What other experiences might they?
We've talked about, I know in the past, from what I understand, they used to take some field trips. And that, once again, with COVID and everything, had kind of got pushed to the wayside. So I think hopefully in the springtime we can take a trip to Springfield. I know that was kind of discussed, either going to the Capitol building or to the Lincoln Museum, which I think would be a great experience for all the students, but especially the international students. The state capitol is a beautiful place if you've never been there or toured it. I think that would be a great experience for the students. So even if we can get maybe some of the local representatives involved, if we can maybe discuss, set up a meeting time with them, that was something I definitely would love to see. But
I know I've been thinking about volunteering with the Eric Sorensen's office, because I followed him when he was on WQAD and everything. Yeah. And I was not from the area, but if I would have been able to vote, I would have been able to vote for him and stuff. Is that something that you could see Politics Club maybe trying to gear towards, is to volunteer on campaigns, or is that something that you're trying to maybe try to avoid because of the...
I think that might be something would be a great opportunity if students wanted to engage in that. But as far as the club, I think we want to remain
as nonpartisan as possible. But it can go both ways. If maybe we could volunteer for Eric Sorensen, or we could switch it up and volunteer for Neil Anderson. But like I said, it's really based on what the students want the club to be, and I think as far as I know, they want to try to stay as nonpartisan as possible, if that makes sense. Because we do have college Democrats and college Republican groups. Yeah, I was going to ask about
I don't know
that.
how active they are. I know the College Republicans are active. I'm not sure about the other one. I think the professor that had it before retired, and kind of not sure where that's at. So, but there is those two groups as well.
What does it mean to you to be the advisor for the politics club? What made you decide to take on that responsibility?
Oh, well, I am political science. I have a degree in political science. It's something I'm very passionate about. And working within the department, just from the faculty, I don't know how to say this. They don't have as much time to dedicate to the club as they'd like. So I had shared some of my perspectives and my ideas for the club, and they kind of were like, well, why don't you be the advisor? So I thought, well, that is something that I've always been passionate about and would love to work with students. So yeah, it just kind of happened, and here I am. But I'm super excited and just really looking forward to seeing where the club goes, and hopefully it'll take off.
All right. And what feelings or thoughts did you have during this meeting as listening to students who were willing to talk and stuff about discussing their beliefs with each other?
I thought, for one, it's really brave. It's brave. It's scary to get up and talk amongst strangers that you don't really know in a different setting, in a new setting. So I thought it was great for those to share their perspectives. I thought everybody was very respectful and asked good questions, but once again, being respectful of other ideologies and outside global perspectives that we got from a lot of our international students. So hopefully we'll just continue getting people to open up more and, feel comfortable. I guess it's just getting to that point.
Now, you talked about having discussions and stuff. Do you have you guys planned on how you want to structure those discussions, or are those going to be more of just kind of everything falls as it falls?
I don't know. I think we definitely, glad you asked that, because I need to send a message to the group to see. I think in the past they kind of had a topic ahead of time, and hopefully we can, personally think it would be better to have a topic ahead of time, and maybe people can do a little more research and then feel more comfortable talking about it, because not everybody, I'm not an expert by any means, and not everybody's an expert on what's going on in Israel, because
right.
That's, so hopefully, kind of lost my train of thought there. So yeah. Kind of lost my train of thought, sorry. That's why I keep drinking my coffee.
If someone is interested in joining the politics clubs, what steps should they take?
They can either reach out or just show up. That's totally fine.
Because when are your meetings again?
Every other Tuesday. So our next meeting will be this coming Tuesday, and we do every other. So just.
And where do you meet at?
We meet at the Philosophy Forum. So
okay.
Second floor of Old Maid, if you go all the way to that side.
Okay.
In front of the huge stained glass window.
Okay.
So it's a very calming, beautiful space. So yeah.
And then what time?
4:30, I believe.
4:30?
Yep, and it varies. It doesn't usually last more than an hour. If you have other obligations, obviously you're not forced to stay the whole time. Right. But yeah, just show up and everybody's welcome.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, is there anything we haven't talked about that you think people should know about the Politics Club?
I think we touched pretty much everything. Like I said, I think our kind of vision for the club is to remain a place where people can have, once again, a healthy dialogue, but to also become more involved in civics. I think trying to stay nonpartisan as possible, but getting the information out about voting and how to register, people voting, especially a lot of them, this might be their first time voting. So just getting the information out and
Making better educated voters.
absolutely. Yep.
All
Perfect.
right.
That's it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.